So guys, now in this video we'll be seeing some basic git commands to get started into the GitHub. So in order to get started with the GitHub, you need to make an account and you need to sign up for the GitHub. And I have already had a GitHub account, and you just need to fill the username, email and the password. Click on sign up for GitHub. So after logging in, you will have the screen like this. So these are the repositories I have already created, and if you are starting new you may not have this. And what you want to do is you go to this icon and click on this your profile, and you can see the your profile overview. And what you want to do is click on this repositories, and these are the repositories I have. And if you want to create a new repository, you need to click new. So the owner is your account name here, and the repository I want to say temp. Just for the demonstration purpose, I am creating a new repository, and you can add the description as well. So you can choose either this repository can be viewed by anyone, or private, public or private, that's up to you. And you can add a readme file. Readme file is just like description of that repository, so it tells us the basic information about what that repository contains, like it contains Python files or any project files, web development files, or etc. And you can also add the gitignore, so we will come to this gitignore shortly. And you can also choose a license. So if you want anyone to use your code freely, you can add this license and tell that you should just give my credits, and you can add my code everywhere. So I don't need all this. Let's create a new empty repository. So you can see quick setup if you have done this kind of thing before. So we have this HTTP link and also SSH link for this repository. You can also create this repository, this temp repository, using the git commands. But I have got this error using these SSH and HTTPS. I got some public key errors, but it's nice to create a repository in GitHub itself. So they are saying to create a new repository from the command line. So let's do this. First I want to let me copy this one. Click on this clipboard button and open your terminal. So in Linux you need to install Git. So to do that you need to say sudo apt install Git. So I have already installed previously, so that's why I get the Git is already newest version. I have installed just before recording this video. So to make sure that my Git is correctly installed, you can say Git version to know the version of the Git installed. So it is 2.17.1, right? Now we need to set some variables, and to do that say git config --. If you click tab button 2 times, you can see all the options. You can add the configuration. If I say list, so I get nothing. There is no variables or some other thing I did not set. To set local variables, I need to say git config local. Okay, user dot. So I need to set this name and the email. So let me set this email. Okay, email is equals to my email. Okay, I don't know why I'm getting this error. Okay, let me leave that aside. Let us focus on this cloning this repository. So I have this empty file here. I have no files in my temp repository. Now if I want to clone this, I just want to copy this URL, and let me say git clone. I want to say git clone, and then the URL here. So after hitting enter, the entire repository will be cloned in this desktop directory. Okay, I'm sorry, I have mistyped this clone spelling. So it says that cloning into temp and warning you have a cloned a empty repository. Okay, we don't have any files now. So what generally you do is you just downloading it as a zip, but it's not the best way. The git clone is the best way because you can just directly push into that. Okay, now I'm going to into the directory cd temp. If I say I have no files here, let me create a file. Touch sample.txt. So one thing I want to do is I want to say, okay, first let me write something. Okay, first I will show you this one, ls minus la. So you can see there are these shortcuts to the current directory and previous directory, but you can see there is .git. So this .git directory helps to track your project files. If there is no .git directory, then you cannot track these files using git. So if I say rm minus rf dot git, if I say ls minus la, now I can no longer track the sample.txt file. So if I change any contents of the sample.txt file, then I cannot track them and I cannot push them into the repository. So to check any files that are in your working directory, you can say git status. So it's saying not a git repository. So you need to add the .git folder. To do this, you need to say git init. So if you say git init, then this .git folder will be placed in that your project folder, and now onwards you can track these files. If I say git status, it says that on branch master and no commits yet, we did not commit yet, and untracked files. So we have the sample.txt file as an untracked file. Okay, now we are not tracking any file. So to track any file, you can say git add sample.txt. If I say git status again, now it's saying that new file sample.txt. So this is the new file added to our working repository or tracking area. So we have seen in the previous theory video that we have the working area and the staging area. So this is the working area, sample.txt file. So if I modify the contents of the sample.txt, let's say nickel, and I'm saving this. Now if I say git status, you can see the modified sample.txt file, changes not staged for commit. So this sample.txt has been modified. So you can see git diff command. So git diff is like, it will display the differences or the modified changes you have done to the file. You can see, okay, there is plus nickel. So you have already added the line plus nickel. No, sorry, you have already added the line nickel to the sample.txt. So let me open it again. So let me delete some characters, and if I say git diff again, you can see the plus nick, but it cannot show you that you have deleted this HIL, because the previously I have this empty text file, right? So I have the empty text file and now I have the nick. So it will tell that you are added the nick, but it does not tell you that you have deleted the HIL. So let me add HIL, sorry, nick, let me add the nickel NIK HIL. Okay, now if I say git diff, now it says that plus nikhil, because we did not add nick, right? But it tells that because the previous version is empty text file. Now we have added the nikhil. So this might sound confusing to you. So we have changed this contents of sample text file. So to commit these changes into staging area, you need to say git commit minus am. am A stands for all changes, m stands for message. You need to put some message whenever you are committing. This is compulsory. So let's say updated. Okay, it says that unable to auto direct email address. Okay, you need to set this email address so that it will commit to this GitHub. Okay, let me copy this. So I'm sorry, I just I'm sorry, I thought that it's a local variable. So let me say username. So now we have set this mail and the name. Now let's say git commit updated. So one file changed when one insertion. So previously we have the empty text file. Now we have one line. So now if I want to push this into our repository, I can say git push. Alright, either specify the URL from the command line or configure a remote repository. So we need to push using remote name. Okay. Okay, let me go to the Chrome and let me copy this one. Right, what if I say origin? Okay, okay, we need to add it as remote. Alright, now okay, I'm sorry, I did not log in into this using this bash. I used Windows and I have logged in before. Okay, let's say password, username and the password, right? I'm so sorry for this errors. So you need to say nikhil.com. Alright, now I'm going to paste this username here. Shit. Now type in the password. Okay, I'm so sorry. I just forgot my password and I'm keep entering the wrong password. Okay, fine. Now let me refresh this page. You could see the sample.txt file. So you can see there is a nickel, and if I refresh this page, okay, I have the nickel text. Now let me go into the text file and I can remove this nickel, and I can say, let's say my full name Nagsai Nickel. So let me save this. So if I say git status, so you can see modified sample.txt file. Now what I want to do is git diff. So you can see minus nickel, minus in the sense the line containing this content has been deleted, and then plus Nagsai nickel. So we have deleted the nickel and have added the Nagsai nickel. So minus indicates that removed, and plus remove indicates that added. So now again I can say git add dot. Dot means that current directory, and I can say git commit, let's say message updated, and then let's say git push. Okay, we need to say origin master. This is the master branch. Okay, it's asking for username and the password again. Right now if I refresh this page, you can see the Nagsai nickel. Right now let's say touch test.txt. So what I want to do is, let's say minus ls, I have these two files, test.txt and the sample.txt file. So if I say git status, so untracked files test.txt. If I don't want to track this file at all, I can say I need to create a file called gitignore. Let's say touch.gitignore. If I say ls minus la, I have the .git folder and .gitignore. If I don't want to track any of the files, I need to put those file names in this gitignore file. Suppose say we don't want to track this test.txt. Now what I want to do is I want to say echo the file name we don't want to track, test.txt, and then send it to gitignore. Now let's say cat.gitignore. So gitignore contains test.txt. Now if I run the git status, now you can see untracked files .gitignore. You can just don't want to, you can just ignore this file. This file does not mean anything, only it is meant for the containing the file names you don't want to track. You can see in the previous git status you have the test.txt file, but in this we don't have this test.txt file. If I say git add star, so it's saying that following paths are ignored by one of your gitignore files and the test.txt. So I can override this using the -f. F stands for forcefully adding them into the working area. So if I say git status, still we don't see test.txt file because we are simply ignoring it. And let's, okay, we have already committed, right? Now let's say that, so this is my repository, and what you want to do is you want to click on this code and copy this link. Now I want to create a new terminal and I am in my home folder. So let me git clone into here. So let me cd into temp. If I say ls, I have only sample.txt file because we ignore the test.txt file and we are only tracking this sample.txt file. Now let's say this is this terminal belongs to one developer and this is like another developer. Let's say ls -la. So we have the .git folder. Now let me echo some content into this sample.txt file. So there are two lines in my sample text file. If I say git status, so modified sample.txt file. Okay, I want to add this directory into the working area and I want to say git commit. So now I am going to push that into the GitHub repository. So I want to enter the username. Alright, now if I say let's say, let me go to my Chrome, sorry, and if I go to the sample.txt file, we have the two lines, right? So another developer has been changed the sample.txt file, but I am the previous developer, I am the old developer. Let's say ls, if I say cat sample.txt file, I have only one line. If I say git status, so there is nothing added to commit because there is no modified, there is no notification that this file has been modified because it's the local file, right? So to be updated with the repository, because another developer of the same project has been modified the sample.txt file. So what you want to do is you need to pull those changes to this temp repository. You need to say git pull dot. Okay, already up to date. Okay, I need to type just git pull, and if I say there are some other changes, and if I say ls, so let me copy this URL. So you need to specify the repository link. I forgot that one. You can see now if you type the cat sample.txt file, now you can see there are two lines. This line was added by another developer. So sorry for those error guys, because I use just normal Windows. I use only three commands: git add, push, and git add, commit, and push. But this is my, like, this is recent installation of Ubuntu, and also I have installed this Git just before recording this video, so that's why I had put some variables for the username and the password, so that the Git software will store those username and the password permanently. So okay, you can check that out in Google about the storing the username and the passwords. Okay, we have seen the gitignore, git init, git add, and then committing those changes and pushing to repository. And then if there are any other changes produced by another developer, you can just pull that using this git pull command. So that's all about the basics of this Git. Sorry for all those errors, sorry, extremely sorry.